Hi, welcome back. Today I wanted to share something with you. I spoke about it earlier in my videos about when in 2021 I got very ill. I got the Guillain-Barré syndrome. So and the reason I want to bring this up is that sometimes what happens is um, the muscle, this muscle here is one complete muscle. And actually, the speech therapist told me that that particular muscle is the most difficult for healing. And still, since this is now since 21, I'm still having a little bit difficulty. So sometimes you see me hesitate, or it looks like I lost my thought of concentration. It's not that. It's just that the muscle in my face are not completely there yet. So I just wanted to share with you that information. So I'm going to show you a photo of what happened to me when this Guillain-Barré hit me, and I was in the ICU unit. And you're going to notice on my face, because all the muscles in my face collapsed. So I couldn't close my eyes. I couldn't move my mouth. I couldn't move my brow, and all these muscles, everything collapsed. So I kind of like look like a zombie a little bit. So just let me show you real quick. I'm going to turn the camera so you can see. I have it here on my laptop. So that's what I look like in the ICU unit. So yeah, it was a debilitating disease. Actually, that what you see me holding in my right hand is actually a morphine pump. The pain was excruciating. It attacked my nervous system and the insulation on the nerves and from the spinal cord. So there was no communication between the brain and the rest of my body. So all my mobile functions were basically gone. And thank God that they found out quickly what it was. It didn't hit my lungs or my heart. Some people go on a ventilator, so I was extremely lucky that didn't happen to me. Even though I did have to take what they call IVIG, which is actually a blood plasma, and that actually brought me out of it pretty much. In the beginning, they only gave me 5 doses. Each dose, I think, was like $10,000. And my wife was persistent in telling the doctors, I need more. Those antibodies were actually very, very important. Some people, if they don't get enough of that, they can have serious long-term, implications from not receiving the proper treatment. And my hospital bill was over $500,000. Thank God I had Medicare, so and that was very helpful. But also one thing interesting is that I couldn't close my eyes. And let me tell you, if you want some pain, that is the most excruciating pain you can imagine, not be able to blink. And what happened was it actually created a bit of a problem because my tear ducts had completely closed. And because of the muscle loss, well, in my face, I didn't have any drainage of tears. So you're constantly producing tears and watering of the eyes, and it drains through your ducts, your tear ducts, which run down your nasal cavities. And what happened eventually, I had to go to have my eyes, the lids repositioned against my face. So I'll show you another photo of what happened. I had to have this surgery where they had to stitch my eyelids against my eyes so they would drain properly. And even after the surgery, it's not 100%. So sometimes you look at my face and you'll see looks like I'm ready to cry, but it's not. It's just that sometimes the tear ducts get blocked. I do some exercises to keep them open. It's a little tedious, but I'm not complaining. I'm glad I'm in the condition I am now. So let me show you real quickly what that surgery looked like right after the surgery, that they stitched my eyelids back to my eye. So just take a look here, and I'll show you real quickly what it looked like. Yeah, it wasn't very fun, that's for sure. So yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up. So when you see me kind of like a little bit hesitant in my speech, because the actual speaking, it took me a while because I wasn't able to speak. So it was a little bit strange. So I still have some residual effects of this muscle around my mouth. So sometimes it's a little bit difficult for me to get that muscle going really well. So anyway, so I was talking to my mom, and my mom's 92 years old. She's going to be 92. So she seems to be really concerned. Her mental faculties are all there. Unfortunately, her physical, ability has diminished, and she had a major surgery too. She had a infection in her intestines, and they had to do a major surgery, and had, thank God she made it through that. But being 92, obviously physical limitations do occur. It happens to everybody. So we were talking about, she seems to be obsessed with this thought of dying. And, I was trying to explain to her, I said, you're well above the average age of the American woman that lives. So, and, you've had a pretty decent life, we haven't had any major issues outside of losing her husband, my father, at 58. And that was another thing. I mean, it was interesting. My father had a massive heart attack. He worked for the city of New York. He was a facilities manager. And he actually knew, well, when he was in the hospital, we saw the thoracic surgeon, and he sat us down and he said, listen, if I don't cut him tonight, he won't be here tomorrow. So obviously we made the decision to go ahead and do the surgery. So we asked him, what the chances of survival rate was. And it was about 5%. But there wasn't any other options, so we agreed. He survived the surgery. But I saw a 58-year-old man, he was only 58 years old, and turn into a 90-year-old, literally, within weeks after the surgery. And it was very saddening, and my mother cared for him while he was going through this period of time. And I remember he didn't actually last a year. He was a little less than a year. My mom had called me up and said that he wanted me to come over and sleep over. I said, okay, sure. And later I found out the reason why he wanted me to come and sleep over, because he knew he was dying. And he actually, he was sitting in we had a nice lounge chair for him. And he was sitting in a lounge chair, and my mom was in the kitchen. And he called me over, and he just said to me, he said, just take care of your mom, which I acknowledged. Of course I would. And he went into almost like a stare, like he was seeing something. And I just heard his last breath go, and that was it. He was gone. So I positioned him better in the chair, his lounge chair, and I closed his eyes, and I told my mother that, he had just passed. And so I was going back to my mom. So my mom was a little bit obsessed with dying, and I'm trying to explain to her, that it's just a cycle of life. There's nothing we can do. I mean, this is it. everybody's going to go in the same direction. There's no other options here, and you just have to understand that. I actually tried to show her that there was a lot of research done by some doctors that had like thousands of patients with near-death experiences, and it wasn't all that, you know, that bad. People that had that fear of dying, and then all of a sudden they realized that, well, all these experiences that these people had was kind of peaceful, and it was kind of, they weren't that afraid anymore. And I mean, for myself, I mean, obviously, we all know we're going to reach that point at some time, and I think that there is if you're a religious person and you believe in reincarnation, so that's great, and other people that are not so religious, just knowing the fact that something is not going to be so detrimental, so intense. I mean, you're not going to suffer, or it just, the body reacts in such a way where it's almost a calming sensation. Some scientists say that the brain produces a certain chemical reaction that makes it kind of like an hallucination. I've read like a lot of reports from a lot of near-death experiences. So I just wanted to touch on that subject, and maybe you guys have some thoughts about that as well. I mean, I'm not a religious person. I do try to have some faith in something, maybe divine intelligence. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. If I had more proof of an exact, of a God, I'd be more than happy to accept that. But right now, I'm more on the side of divine intelligence. I know, it's a touchy subject, but that's how I feel at this point in my life. But I'm hoping that my mom, I tried to convince her that everything is going to be okay, and that she lived a full life and above average than the average person, and hope she's going to be okay with it. Obviously, you don't want to be alone when you do pass. I guess most people would like to just pass in their sleep, which a lot of people do say that. Obviously, I wouldn't want to have a traumatic death, as opposed to like a car accident or something like that. But yeah, so I hope that I shed some light on this a little bit, and we shouldn't be afraid of dying. It's inevitable. So any thoughts or comments you have, I'd appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.